guys, it's Coach Karina. I'm going to start today by using this opportunity as a public service announcement about sleep. Going out of my lane here a little bit, but this is important. None of us sleep as much as we should. I would like for all of us, this is really hard, easy to say, really hard to do, to find some strategy to make sure that you're getting the sleep that you need. You work super early hours, sometimes you're also working really late hours. Without the sleep that you need, you can't do a good job at any of the stuff that you want and need to be able to do during your day. So what happens is our immune systems go downhill really quickly. When we get sick, the best medicine, the only medicine that really works is rest, and that's the hardest thing for most of us to do. We want a symptom manager and not an actual cure. And the thing that actually gets us better when we're sick is rest. So that's what happened to me this week. That's why your video is late. Sorry. I wore myself out, I got really sick, and here I am. So I just wanted to take the opportunity to remind you to not do what I did. So let's all try to get a little bit more rest. So we're starting this week with some exercises for the nervous system, focusing on hip hinge mechanics. And what I wanted to do is spend some time on hands and knees and kneeling for weeks 3 and 4, and then we'll move to standing for weeks 5 and 6. And I'll post that video later today also. That way you get your you have all your exercises, you know what's coming, and you can find the best way to work it into your workouts and your classes. So for week 3 and 4, what we're going to do is do a tall kneeling balance exercise. We're going to work on dragonfly twist with a twist, and we're going to do a lateral bear crawl move. So all of those are somewhat familiar to you. We're just doing them with a little bit of an emphasis on what we need for a good hip hinge. So as you know, the hip hinge, the hips need to move back. That requires a certain amount of trunk stability and hip control. So that's what we're practicing with this tall kneel balance exercise. So you're going to start tall kneeling. So you're standing on your knees, right? You can choose to either have your toes tucked under or feet flat. This feet flat feels more comfortable for my kneecaps, but whatever feels like it works best for you is fine. You're here like this, you're kneeling, and what you're going to do is just as if you're going to do a tall kneel step out, you're just going to come out, but not put the foot out, just kind of balance there. Try not to lean back too much. Try not to go sideways too much, just balance there. Give maybe 30 seconds on the left, switch to the right, back and forth. For 2 bouts of 30 seconds on each side. What I would suggest also is if you've got a weight bench in your gym or a soft plyo box, like a padded plyo box, kneeling on that, like having one knee, say like I've got one knee on my black edge here, and so if my other knee was just floating, like I was on an elevated surface, my other knee is just floating, and both legs can be sort of next to each other, that's a different kind of balance than when the thigh is up, like it is here, okay? So you can kind of play with it and see and give the opportunity for some different challenges. Different balance systems required depending on where the foot is and depending on where the hips are. All of it's helpful. It's never a waste of time. Also, if you've got people that that can't be on their kneecaps, their knees are giving them some issues, always a good idea just to work on balance standing up. Perfectly fine. Even have them take shoes off. Balance barefoot is a little bit more challenging and certainly different than with the shoes on. Never a waste of time to work on balance and standing if the knee version is not working for somebody. So 30 seconds on each side, 2 times, and then we'll go to dragonfly twist, and I'll remind you of what the pose looks like normally. The front shin is vertical, right? So the knee's not going to be going too far in front of the ankle. It's also not going to be caving inward or outward over the midline of the foot. Back leg fired up pretty straight. My heel is pointing towards the wall behind me. I've got my opposite hand, so my left hand planted on the inside of my front foot, and I just rotate my upper body toward my front leg and look up at my top hand. Now the gaze is optional. Whatever gaze point feels comfortable for people's necks is the one that you should choose. But the twist that we're going to do is we're going to twist to the other side too. So we're going to go hand inside the front foot and then rotate forward as well. Trying to keep the pelvis pretty square, and we just switch back and forth. Pelvis stays pretty square. And we can work on the movement in the upper body, so like rotation through the trunk, at the same time as we're trying to work on keeping the hips square. As you go, if balance seems like it's pretty well controlled for folks, you can offer the option of a little bit less weight in that front hand, and then kind of rotating back and forth, maybe even like airplane arms, rotate about the axis of the spine. It may feel more doable on one side than the other. Again, these are always just options. You can have plenty of weight on that front hand. Block is a great option in this case here to go underneath the hands to give a little bit extra support. So twisted dragonfly, you can twist both ways. Again, maybe like 3 to 5 rotations in each direction with each leg in front. You can, of course, you can work that into a little flow as people get more comfortable with it. Then we're going to lateral bear crawl. So here, we're starting on the hands and knees. Spine is pretty neutral, maybe even tailbone tilting toward the ceiling a little bit. Toes are tucked under. And you're going to press into a bent knee down dog. So the pelvis lifts up, back is pretty straight, shoulders are nice and long, spine is nice and long. And we're just going to reach the foot toward the camera off to the side. Hips just kind of slide across. You walk the hands to meet the feet, back and forth. Try to keep the pelvis square to the floor as you go. My suggestion in your gyms is to just go to the right all the way down to one side, keep your head pointing in the same direction and come on back. Maybe a minute on to each side, something like that. It's a little bit different with the confined space that I've got. This is an exercise that I feel is really hard for me. The reason I feel like it's hard is I tend to want to just push with my shoulders. So for me, the cue that really helps me is sort of that length through the arms and the spine. I feel like I've got more weight in my feet than my hands. And if you do that little bit of a change, it's kind of like, if you might feel like I have a cramped down dog position, not really supposed to be down dog, it's just that that's the familiar shape that a lot of you know. But I want the knees bent, back flat, trunk nice and stable, and just play with it and see how you do. So you're going to do 2 30-second bouts of knee balance, 2 rounds of, one round on each side, 3 to 5 rotations in twisted dragonfly, and then 1 set going in each direction for lateral bear crawl. Just a couple minutes to get you warmed up for your hip hinge. So that's for week 3 and 4. Let me know what you think. Have fun.